All right, my brother Rocco. We should be live. We should be back right now. Um,
We're not.
the, you said we're not?
No, because I got your live stream set up right here on this computer, and I'm looking at the last one you made. So it might take a second to transmit.
All right. I'm getting it live, so we should be live. I'm gonna check right now, family. Bear with us. We're not too sure. I gotta log in the back end and see what's going on. Okay. All right, family. We are live right now, so we are definitely live. I don't know why it says zero watching. Okay, no, I see people in the chat room. All right, so we back. So you could I see both of you. Okay, back. Yeah, yeah. So we are definitely live. Sorry for the interruption, family. Technical difficulties on my end with my Ethernet, I believe it was. So I had to use the Wi-Fi. But listen, we're gonna get right into it, my brother Rocco. I don't know if YouTube is gonna make this a continuation of the last video, just make this something new. But I'm gonna get right into it. It's late. My brother, we're talking about the concept of free will versus destiny. The idea that, I create my own reality, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, that Rocco, regardless of whatever the fuck you say in the stars, whatever the fuck you tell me in a reading, that's cool. But if I want to manifest me, um, being a pilot on a plane, and that's nowhere in my star system, according to you, I have the ability to do that because I rule the stars, and the stars don't rule me. So I want to read something. I mentioned Manly P. Hall. If you was here earlier, Manly P. Hall, according to you in your Instagram um, post, says the Hermeticists taught that a strong and wise man ruled his stars, but a negative, weak person was ruled by them. So sometimes I see people pay so much attention to the stars that it almost coincides with the procrastination of their desires. They're like, they procrastinate and they blame it on the stars. Star procrastination. But brother, talk to me about this concept as far as being ruled by the stars or controlling the stars and this and what you teach, my brother.
Well, this is an age-old debate amongst astrologers. All right, you have what they call the fatalists, and these are those who believe that the stars indicate the reality you're going to live, regardless of whom or what. Okay, I subscribe to that idea, not just out of belief. I didn't get into it with that idea. You have to study the science first and get to know it and understand the language that it speaks, that it transmits and conveys. Then look at the lives of people who have lived already, who have lived in what we call great men and those people who are mediocre. All right. And in hindsight, whenever you look at the life or biography or the experience of an individual, the chart is never wrong. You see? So, I mean, never. The only thing that's wrong is the interpretation that an astrologer might give it. He see Mars and say, oh, because Mars represents police, it also represents competition, right?
Okay.
Friendly competition as well as um, unfriendly competition. So that being, we have a choice, I believe, as to how we're going to manifest the energy that we're given, but we do not have a choice in what we've already agreed to experience. And what I mean by that is the chart in hindsight shows the decisions that you think you chose to make. You know, I'll give you one brief example. Okay. Virgos love driving black cars, black, gray, white, or silver, neutral colors, really. Okay. Now, what color is your car? You see? So when you look at that and you think you chose that color, or were you pre-programmed to do it? I look at the charts of Napoleon. I look at the charts of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all right, other Nat Turner, all right, and these people lived out the dictates of their charts. And you might argue that these people didn't know. So I can only refer to myself here. I have been practicing the science on an expert level since the age of 21. I am now 54 years old. I'll be 54 in a couple of days. All right. And I have struggled for the last 30 years to control the indications in my chart. And, it's complicated. And I'm going to try to simplify it. All right. Each planet represents thousands of things, but thousands of things within their own nature, right? Mars represents war, competition, police, firemen, ambulance, blood, iron, right? Burns, scrapes, infections. So knowing that you're having the Mars, if you want to avoid the worst that it gives indication to, you can confine yourself to a specific space. But you can't prevent that Mars energy from permeating your person. So, for example, I just told a friend of mine the other day, he's a Virgo. He was born on August the 31st, which locates his sun at 8 degrees of Virgo, right? And Mars was yesterday was at 6 degrees. And I said to him, yo, you need to chill for the next couple of days. You're having a Mars energy. Transiting Mars is moving over your sun degree. And it's not like a progressed Mars that just stays there for 1 or 2 days. This Mars is going to last for about a week, about 4 days before it actually rolls over your sun degree, and for about 4 days after. So he calls me today and says, yo, at 7:20, I'm sitting on the job. He's a security guard, right? So I'm in the parking lot in my car watching this building, and police come from fucking everywhere, surround my car, cover my car with a spotlight and what have you. And what you said about that came true. Now, my thing is, we have the external world. We have no control over the external world. You understand? But we have control of ourselves, it appears, right? In hindsight, it doesn't look like that, because I could say right now, I chose to do this show with you. I didn't consult any chart, right? But I'm sure if I look at my chart, there will be an indication that I chose to do this show. So did I really choose to do it? Did you really choose to have it? Because if we look at your chart, it's going to say that you're broadcasting, right? Or that you attempted to broadcast. So in hindsight, the chart illustrates exactly what you chose. Even when you say, no. I know I'm having a Jupiter, so I'm going to stay in the house. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to travel. I'm not going to broadcast. I'm not going to do anything that Jupiter points to. But your external world is going to be permeated with Jupiter, your environment. So how are you not doing your Jupiter? So you can't keep it from happening. Like you cannot stop the sun from rising. You may dig a hole in the earth and crawl into it and say, no sunlight is going to touch me today. But you can't stop the sun from rising, and you can't stop the fact that it's daylight. And you did act in accord with the sun and what you had to do. You followed the law to keep it from touching you. But is it really not? When there's ions pass through the earth like lights through glass. So can you really avoid it? That's the question that astrologers have been debating. My whole thing is when we get into these debates, I say, bring me the history of a man whose birthday we know, and point to an event that he committed at the time he committed it that isn't indicated by the progression of his chart. That is humanly impossible. So ultimately, I'm going to subscribe to the idea that we decide what we're going to go to before we get here. You see? That's that. You chose, your choice was made before you got here. Now you're going to live that out. And what keeps it from keeps that idea from falling apart is that the chart, astrology itself, points to the things outside of you. It points to your children you haven't even had yet. It points to the choices you're going to make at the age of 20-something. Your birth chart gives indication of that. Direct indication. So when we say, well, I could choose to do this, do you know it's an illusion? Everyone who has a spiritual inclination admits that all of this is an illusion. So what makes you think that the ownership of your body, that's an illusion? The ownership of your house, you don't own that motherfucker.
You cut your voice. I cannot hear you though. Raku, can you hear me, my brother? Oh man. Family, you hear me, right, family? Family, let me know. Do you hear me? The brother's talking right now. You can't hear him. Can you hear me though? We can't hear him. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, family? So you hear me, you just yeah, so all right, that's what I thought. Yeah, let me tell the brother right now. Cause he just going off and you don't even know. He was doing his thing. Hear you, but not him. No, they hear me, they don't hear you. They hear me, they don't hear you though. Something happened with your mic. All right, family. So tonight seems to we seem to yeah they cut they cut him off. Mercury retrograde. Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on, but the brother got cut off. Let me use this opportunity to plug the lecture about to go down November 3rd. The 2020 Ascension Conference. Shout out to EJ McGuire for donating $5 to my platform. This is, the money that you guys donate because YouTube are the way they are. Every other month they're cutting off your monetizer. You can't just trust them. You can't trust them at this point.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, you back.
I
Raku.
can't hear you though. If you can hear me, nod.
Yeah, so the money that you guys
No, you
donate
can't hear me.
support Patreon family, and what you guys do is very important.
See, instead of trying to fix it, we could just kill it.
Raku, can you hear me? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. You're live. You're live, my brother.
Okay, good.
All right, give me 1 second. I was in the middle of saying something. So I just want to thank everybody that's donate, that supports, or simply watches or shares a video. All of it is a form of donation, is a form of support. Of course, I would love for you guys to donate cash capital because that's the kind of system we live in where we utilize that every day of our lives. But either way, I appreciate any support. I'm in a thumbs up. Thumbs up goes a long way as well. So thank you, family, and back to. I'm sorry for the interruption. And back to our program. My brother, Raku, you there, right?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, you had to take off the mic. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you was going in, brother. Do you remember where you left off? Because the audio cut off. Do you remember what you were saying?
Yeah. I'm saying in hindsight, when we examine the lives of great or mediocre men, there is no evidence that they deviated from what was dictated at the moment of their birth, at the moment of their inception. And for that reason, I got overwhelming evidence. I usually use Malcolm X's chart because he's one of our great ones, right? And but it doesn't matter who we use. You could pull me a stranger through the phone. This is the basis upon which my acceptance of that idea, where it comes from. Because when I'm reading the chart, I'm talking about what has happened in the last 2 years, what happened when they were a kid, what's going to happen in their future, and you know, I haven't had anyone come to me and say, "No, this shit don't work." You see, and the fact I got into it to disprove it. You know,
God body, I had no acceptance of the idea that anything other than my own will. And people are gonna subscribe to that, and that's cool. But you gotta think, did you pick your parents? Did you pick their occupations? And if you can change your destiny, your chart points to the nature of your mother. That would mean that you would have to crawl back in time and change what she did. You see? That kind of stuff
So
ain't possible.
so it and it's very interesting how you say that, my brother. But it seems like, well, this debate that's been happening for, like you said, so long between astrologers, and it's free will versus destiny. Sometimes we get caught up in the either or paradigm, where something either has to be black or white, or either has to be this and that. And it seems as though the new paradigm we're moving into, it's either and or. And it fucks with our mind, because the first thing our mind says, wait a minute, there's no such thing as either and or. It doesn't make sense. It's either or, not either and or. Like both of them can't be. You can't be right at the same time saying two different things.
You
So
can it's possible. I can rationalize
right,
it.
no. So this is where I'm going with it. So it seems like what you're saying is that you do have free will, but that is before the time of birth from another dimension. You have all the free will in the world to choose what kind of life you want to experience. But you're saying once your spirit gets involved in this physical vessel, then destiny, your free will starts to manifest through what we call destiny. So it seems like it's free will and destiny if we're viewing it from a multi-dimensional perspective. What do you agree with that?
Entirely. See, understand this. We have control over our faucet. We can turn it on and turn it off. Right?
Yeah.
So we have control of water. We can boil water. We can freeze water. We can put it in a container and sell it. Okay. So but you can't remove water from the face of this earth. You can't remove it from existence. So our ability to tamper with anything is limited by our human capacity anyway. You see?
Indeed, indeed. Wow.
Those things that we can control in quantity, in quality, we cannot control in quantity. You see, and this is what really gets me about these brothers and sisters who push that I control everything idea. Stop thinking for 5 seconds for the next 5 seconds. Just stop thinking.
Yes.
See, you can't even control your mind. How you gonna control anything else outside of you?
Yo, you know what? You know what I just thought of? That Esther Hicks talks about, and she always talks about the law of attraction. When you said stop thinking, if we stop thinking, right, we still end up manifesting something. Even if we was able to suspend, we were so advanced. You know what's crazy? If we was so advanced that we were able to suspend thought and not think, the least we think, the more we become who we are. It is our thinking that delays us becoming who we are. So wow, that's a deep concept. Even if we wasn't able to think, we would still become who we were before birth. That's a deep concept, man. Wow. So okay. So thought. So is thought evil to you? The concept of thought, because I heard people say the thoughts that you think, and they're not even you. You're picking them up from an invisible field that exists around you, and you're just, because you're resonating with that thought, you pick up on it. But is thought? Would you consider thought evil, my brother? Since they tell us to be
Thought,
still.
thought itself is good. Okay, what you do with it will determine whether it's evil or not. No, it's like saying I have an axe on my back porch. Is that a good or bad thing? Well, that's good that I own an axe. I can use that. Okay. You see? Now, if I take it next door and chop up the woman and her children, then it is a very bad thing, right? So the thought itself is all good because from it can come good. And what you do with it determines whether it's evil or not. Are you going to do harm and promote growth like the rest of the universe? And even then, like, I've been on this shit. I had a dispute with a minister, right? A Baptist minister. And it was a peaceful exchange of opinions, really, and philosophy. And I asked him, I said, do you think Hitler was an evil man? And he said, of course. I said, well, consider that your Bible says that the Creator put a curse on those people. Said that you will be turned out from your places, you will be scattered, you will be persecuted and oppressed, all right? Didn't that so-called curse have to manifest through the action and the interaction with other people? Yes. So then the people that brought that curse to fruition were doing the will of God then, according to you, right? Then how could Hitler be bad? And you think about that when I look at the chart of Kayvon Martin and Zimmerman, all right? When you look at their charts, there's a bad aspect between Kayvon Martin's Pluto, which is the planet that indicates life transference, life either coming or life going, coming into this world or going out of this world, right? Life transference, period, right? His Mars is in bad aspect to his Pluto. Mars is the planet of violence. So looking at their charts, it was inevitable that violence would occur between them. You see? And you wonder, I wonder, was it destined? I had a dream in 2004 on September the 17th. No, September the 10th, pardon me, when the sun was at 17 degrees Virgo. And this is when the sun conjuncted my Pluto, right? I had Pluto at 17 degrees Virgo when I was born. So the dream I had, I was murdered, to make it short. Nigga shot me in the face. And I landed in like a jungle, like the Muslim description of paradise, right? I was on moss, it was soft. I could hear women in the background. And I wanted to find out where they were. Like, I'm like, oh shit, the Muslim paradise, this shit is real, And as I was going through the path towards the voices, I heard other voices calling me behind some foliage. And they were like, Raku, over here, man. Be over here, come in. So I came over there and it was two men. And they were like, you don't remember us? And I'm like, nah, how do you know my name? And they're like, they looked at each other and laughed. And one of them said, man, we're the ones who brought you here. And I said in my dream, yo, man, what the fuck are you doing here then? If you murdered me. And I remembered as he said it, like, boom. The last thing I remember was hearing click, him pull the trigger, right? And he said, I'm like, yo, so how are you here? And they said, nigga, you asked us to do that to you. You said you wanted to know what it was like to get your face blown off.
Wow.
So I woke up, right?
Wow.
Now, from that dream, I postulated the idea that even the people that experience injustice, the baby that comes down here and at the age of 2 weeks burns to death in his crib, maybe that spirit or the soul, that the consciousness that inhabits that form only came down here to experience that. You see, I don't know. I'm not claiming that is the fact, that is what it is. These are just ideas that I entertain, God. What I do know is that every person I have read since about the age of 21 has given me affirmation for every prediction, every analysis, and even when they disagree with the wording I choose. they still agree that I was correct in what I was trying to relate. You understand? So, and that's not me. I don't claim to be the baddest motherfucker astrologer on the planet. I let other people say that, you know, but I'm just following the rules, the nomenclature of reading. So the chart always describes the individual. It is the astrologer who gives it the wrong interpretation from his own human error. That in hindsight, none of it is incorrect. You see, ever. And that's my challenge to all of those power of attraction heads, to all of those I control my destiny heads, because I call them heads, they just think that shit is in their mind. Show and prove it. I can show and prove.
Well, let me say it like this. Let me say it like this, Raku. I'm a big believer in that I control my reality.
I know you are.
So hold on, let me finish. I know where you're going. So I'm a big believer in, you know, manifestation and the power of my thoughts. But my question to you is that is the only reason that I think that way is because I'm supposed to think that way.
Exactly. You're pre-programmed.
I'm
Lord.
pre-programmed to think, okay. Come on, what the fuck is that? This is some weird shit.
Okay, watch this. Watch this. Let me give you this example. Let me give you this example. I'm not going to get into, the, you know, anything is too far out. But let's put it this way. We can look at your son's chart.
Shit. Go ahead.
We can look at the chart of your offspring. Okay. And the day you die, it's going to show up in his chart. In his chart, the day you die. So in order for you to control your destiny, then you can determine when you're going to die and when you don't. People say, well, what about the suicidal nigga? When you look at the suicidal motherfucker, bring any suicide you want. Make sure you have his birthday. We can show and prove that motion the day he died. So did he really choose to die? And if he has any family members, his death showed up in their chart too. You see, that's my point. You are the author of your reality, then manifest a reality other than what your son's chart says about you. See, Superman, because that's how I see it. That's how I see it. See, and if you don't study astrology, then you are going to subscribe to what makes sense. But the world doesn't make sense, God. You see, everything doesn't make sense. Our intuitive faculty makes no rational sense. You get to know the nature, the exact nature of a thing without any prior experience or exposure by way of the intuition. Now that is an entirely irrational process, but it is perfectly mental, spiritual mental. So when you actually examine it, you have that belief because you have not examined. And everyone who advocates that belief has not examined the astrological paradigm.
You know what though, my brother Raku, you know what I have found through experience? Make sure you donate. Side note, make sure you donate to the Cash App family. Very important. Make sure you donate to the Cash App. Also, make sure you tune into the 2020 Ascension Conference. The links will be in the description of this video. With that being said, brother Raku, what I have found through my experience in life, being in my mid-30s, I find that the most ambitious people in the world don't study astrology. They go based on, and I see you nodding your head. No, this is facts though. And they go.
No, I agree with you. They don't study astrology.
Okay. And they go based on their ambition, their passion. They follow their passion. The most successful people in the world follow their passion. When I see somebody who religiously, and I don't want to say religiously because you're gonna set me up on that word.
No, I'm not. I see where you're going already, though.
But with somebody is a hardcore follower of, let's say, your branch of science, astrology, whatever you want to call it, they wait on shit to happen for them. Oh, this ain't the year. Hold up, no, I'm not gonna work hard this year. Oh shit. Nah, I'm gonna eat, son. Man, listen, I'm gonna do this because in 2 years is my time. Wait, I gotta wait till my 8th year. Hold up, I gotta wait till Virgo's transiting Saturn. Oh no, I got to square. This bitch ain't no good. This bitch ain't no good because I got to square. So I'm gonna cheat on this bitch because there's a square in my chart. So this bitch.
What astrologers you been talking to?
That shit gets crazy. What you say?
See that philosophy, man, is weak as hell.
No. You're not getting the point.
I mean, I need to
point.
know which
You're not getting, hold on, brother. You're not getting the point. I'm not talking about a particular branch. We're not going to single nobody out. What I'm talking about is what you teach and what everybody teaches who's into these sciences, where there's something.
You misunderstood me, bro, because I don't advocate that. And see, secondly, this is what it is. This is what it is,
brother. This is what
I would never wait.
Hold up. You gotta hold up.
I would never wait 2 years for an opportunity, bro.
Hold up. Let me explain myself. You say certain things. I come to you. You do a reading. You read a chart. You told me things. You told me certain things about myself. So what I'm saying is that I could listen to what you say, or I could say fuck what you say and continue doing what I do with no regards to what you say. Now, I'm being plain devil's advocate. I understand the genius in what you do because you have told me certain things. Like I said to King Simon, you have told me certain things about myself and my girl that has come true. So I know you're not just a crazy dude up here talking shit. You got something going on what you're saying, but I'm questioning your science, my brother. So what I'm saying is that the most successful people I meet don't listen to your science. They're like, if they do, it's rare. It's like, once in a blue. But what I'm saying is the people that study this shit profusively or profuse, whatever that word is, they tend to procrastinate on shit, or they delay shit, or they make excuses for shit, my brother. That's what I'm saying. The person with the passion wins. The person with the knowledge ends up being at the bottom.
I don't know if that's necessarily true, God. You see, peep this. If I see emotion in my chart 2 years from now, I'm going to act on that 2 years from now. I'm not going to stop doing what I do. See, what you have to understand is things aren't separated by years. You have 4 Jupiters every day. Every day. So the individual who's waiting 2 years is wasting a whole lot of other opportunities. That's ridiculous. And there's certain things that cannot manifest. Just like you cannot take your apple seeds out in December and plant them in the ground in December. You got to wait until it's planting season. That's the law of apple seeds. You see? For the astrologer who says, oh, you're not going to get that for another 2 years, he better be telling you that there's a process you have to engage in that whole time, because that's the reality of it. It doesn't just fall in your lap 2 years from now. You're going to have to work for 2 years to bring out the manifestation. I'm going to give you an example. I have an app. We're working on an app right now, okay? It's going to take about a year to develop. So I'm not just going to sit back and say, I don't have to do nothing for a year until my app comes out. I'm going to continue to develop that app so that in 1 year, when my Jupiter smacks me in my midheaven, that I get the fruit from that, and it's not a bust that I didn't buy the ticket to. So I don't understand those astrologers who say, well, you gotta wait. And secondly, there's what you call quality times, and there's just normal times. I'll give you an example. Brother A.A. Rashid, right? I use this chart to measure when his wiz was going to play the lottery, of when she would win, when she would definitely win. And sure enough, she went out and she won, all right? And I didn't do it just for her. I did it for Blue Pill. I did it for the guy that sponsors my, his name is Zeus, the guy that sponsors my lectures, okay? And they've tried it. Zeus has tried it when it wasn't his Jupiter days. You understand? But having a knowledge of when your opportune time is like knowing what to work for. It is not something that you're supposed to just wait to happen. Like that right there is the poorest astrology I ever heard. So I can't go with that. I can't affirm that and say those astrologers who do that in the name of astrology are the same astrologers who say, oh, well, I got Jupiter in the third house, so I yell all the time. Nigga, you don't have to yell all the time because Jupiter isn't strictly yelling. You see? So I don't understand that. I can't subscribe to that.
Indeed, indeed. What do you think about based on your science? What do you think about what we call, not only what we call karma, but what we our definition of karma, the majority of people in that if I cheat on, let's say if I cheat on my woman, then eventually down the line something I might get cheated on. It might get returned to me, or something bad might happen to me because of that, because I offended another being or I lied to another being. How does that fit in with your science? What we understand as karma.
All right. That's a high misunderstanding of karma because I also believe in reincarnation. I subscribe to the idea of reincarnation. So what bad happens to you in this life comes from an accumulation of lifetime. And the reason for that is what about the baby who gets raped? The 2-year-old child who gets molested? What karma did that child generate here in this lifetime that brings that on them? That doesn't make sense. I mean, that isn't even irrational. That's just totally impossible in my mind. That child, if that is a matter of karma, would have had to done something in another life to deserve that in this life. That's my opinion of karma. Karma is you're a male, you're a man, not a woman. That's karma. You see, you got brown skin. That's karma. Your mother's name is so-and-so and your father's name is this and that. They came together and made you. The fact that both of them are your parents is karma. As opposed to Bobby Reynolds, whose dad was a football player and whose mom was a lawyer, okay? His karma was to be the offspring of those two. And your karma was to be the offspring of your parents. That's how I see karma. Now, in terms of, I lost $100 a day. It just fell out of my pocket because when I was 14, I stole this money out of the cash register of Fowler's. I mean, at a department store. I don't believe in that. So you don't get anything that you don't have coming to you already. Idea that is crazy. All right. Today I checked while we was offline. Right. Venus conjuncts my sun today. Venus is in the sign of broadcasting in my birth chart. So is that just coincidence? You ain't gonna get an astrologer on the planet that's gonna say that's coincidence.
Right, right.
Yeah. So while we think, and what you said is like so real, you get it. You're programmed to like certain things and programmed not to like them. And we can look at the chart and see that. You see? So how is it that it's in your birth chart before you even know what it is? Before I knew, what a shapely woman was, my chart described what kind of woman I was going to be attracted to. So did I really choose it like this girl? Or is it just natural affinity? And the older I get, the more inclined I am to accept the intelligent design of this universe. You understand? Because at one point I was like, there's no kind of intelligence outside of what goes here on the earth. Okay. But water has an intelligence. Plants have intelligence. Animals have intelligence. So the super conscious that incarnates into all of these forms doesn't lose its intelligence, and it permeates the universe. You see? So the older I get, the more I'm inclined to accept the idea that I'm not the author of all of this. I didn't author this. I didn't create you. You see? And we are both a product of that intelligence. That intelligence manifested itself in you and in me. It individuated itself into our own personal experiences. But in the end, when we die, we pay tribute to everything that made us. And our consciousness is like pouring water back into the ocean. So like, I accept that ideology. After doing astrology for years and seeing how it predicts the events, not just in your life, but in your family's life. You know, in the life of your family, your chart will show when your mom dies. It will be a definite angular conjunction when your mom dies, you see? And it will be on the IC or in aspect to your moon, you see? These things that give indication of the mother will definitely be involved in that alignment. So if you say you control your destiny, and part of your destiny is experiencing the gain and the loss of loved ones, then change that. Because you can say, no, bro, I can choose to untie my shoelace and untie your shoelace. Therefore, I have will, right? Well, will something that counts.
Well, this is what I want to talk to you about. Make sure my mic is on. So we often say things in this reality, and you know, like I could say, like you could say you believe in what you believe in. You know, there's no such thing as free will, and everything is you know, predetermined or whatever. And I could say what I believe in. I could say that I'm rich. And you know what? Let's say, and I said this the other day, let's say I get to the cash register and something costs, I thought it was going to cost $5, but it costs $15. Man, I might have damn near have a heart attack. The thought of spending $15 instead of $5, it drives a lot of people crazy. And these are the same people who go around saying affirmations saying they are rich. So the point is, you say you're one thing, but when the opportunity presents itself, that opportunity proves you're a whole nother thing. Moving on to what you're saying, as far as free will versus, you know, you choosing to, you brought him an example of a child choosing to be raped at 2 years old. If, Raku, something happened, let's just say your son, if something happened to your son at the age of 5 and the individual did something to your son, I doubt, this is me using common sense, I doubt you're not going to get mad at that person who did something vicious to your son. You're not going to say, you know what, son, this is predetermined. Before you were born, you decided at the age of 5, according to my science or whatever science, that something was going to happen to you. You gonna, my prediction, Raku, is that you might want to kill that motherfucker who did something to your 5-year-old son. But you know what? You wanted to kill the individual. You being mad kind of contradicts what you're telling me now, which is it was.
I don't think so, Rich.
It was predetermined.
It's crazy you would use that example. I have the sign of Scorpio in the house of children. So it's already been predetermined that if somebody does something to my kid, I'm gonna murder that motherfucker dead. And you did. And seriously, Scorpio is the sign of murder and death, right? And I have it in the place of children. You would use that example. I have Pluto, the planet that rules that house, in Virgo. So a Virgo would throw that to me. That's crazy, right? Now, watch this. Watch this.
Yeah, brother.
And when I catch that nigga and kill him, it'll be in his chart that he got killed by the father of the child he raised.
Shit. Like that, huh?
Like that, God. Because let me tell you something. Let me show you how crazy it is. You have what we call in astrology mirrors or echoes, right? Okay. So Virgo mirrors Scorpio. I'll give you an example. All right. Virgo
mirrors Scorpio?
Yeah. Like your left hand mirrors your right hand.
Wow.
Now let me show you how. All right. Virgo has Leo in the 12th house. That is the sign of children, or the sign of love, better for this example. The sign of love is Leo, and it is in the place of sleep, right? Scorpio has the sign of sleep in the place of love. Both of these two signs hate to wake up in the morning and have to go serve someone else. I guarantee. Yeah, we've never discussed this, you and I, right?
Yeah, that's so
Nigga,
true.
you hate to be woke up out there.
Bro, that's that. Yo, oh shit. Since I was 20, my nigga, that's been a big problem with me. Wait,
Look, let me finish. Okay? Let me finish. Virgo has Scorpio, the sign of death, all right? In the third house, younger brothers, cousins, and people that look up to you, right? So some underlings of yours have died, right? I have Gemini in the 8th place, which is the sign of brother in the place of death. And I've had 2 younger cousins who were murdered and friends who I grew up with that were younger than me, that looked up to me. They have been murdered. They have been killed, all right? So it was destined that I would experience the death of younger brothers. You see? Now, some of those occasions, I'm like, yo, he shouldn't have did that. Had he not done this? But the way life is, it is pre-written down, no mistakes here. So if you understand it, the whole universe, let's skip reincarnation. Let's skip all of the shit we can't prove. What we can prove is that the entire universe, as far as we can perceive it, light years from here, is mathematically cohesive and harmonious, no matter what happens. That right there is evidence of predestination. Now, somebody else might say, nah, I can't accept that. But the entire universe is mathematically cohesive. A motherfucker doesn't die before his time. No one does. No one is born before their time. And proof of that is, when a man dies in his mother's chart, it will show which child of hers died that day. In that man's children, if he has children, it will show that their father was murdered, was killed. Even Malcolm X's chart showed the death of his father perfectly on the day that his father died. He was 7 years old. How could he have changed that, and how was that not predestined? When he had Pluto in Cancer. See, I didn't use this example. I have never broadcasted this example over the air. But he had the moon by declination, which is the sign, which is the planet.
Talking about Malcolm X.
Yeah. I never used this particular example. I've always used his wife, right? But he had Pluto in Cancer in the 7th place, 8th sign. The sign that was on the 8th cusp when it was in the 7th house. But by declination, which is how far the planets are from the ecliptic, right? The moon moved perfectly to overlap the planet of death the day his father was died. It wasn't there, it wasn't exact the day before his father died. It wasn't exact the day after. It was exact the day of. So if he had control over that aspect of his destiny, keyword, over that aspect, don't you think he would have stopped it? The fact that the moon is in Aries in his chart. The moon is also the domestic, the planet that points to domestic. His house was on fire when he was a kid. They firebombed his house when he left the Nation of Islam. And his wife died in a fire in the home. So where is the ability to stop the things that your chart points to outside of yourself? What we have control over is whether we are going to allow that energy to overrun us or whether we're going to roll with it. In other words, you are in a boat with the oar. You can determine which direction you go in, but you can't determine how rapid those waters decide to get.
So, Raku, let's say that the same reading that Malcolm had, as far as where his houses were located, that indicated a murder was going to take place. Let's say somebody else had that same exact reading, and
impossible.
So you know where I'm going. So
yeah,
you're saying, hold on,
even though people are born, watch this. Even though people are born on the same day, maybe the same exact time and true time. There's a triangulation involved. There can't no two people be born in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
So even if your mother gave birth to you at the exact same day and moment as me, you're the bed over, you are actually a few minutes of arc on the surface of the earth in a different place than me. So your karma is going to be different than mine.
So you basically okay. I get it now.
Now, hold, let me finish.
Yeah.
So the day I'm having a Mars, you'll be having a Mars too on the same day. But that doesn't mean that the nature of the Mars that I'm having will be the same nature. You may cut your finger. I may go to a basketball game. Mars points to both of those. The catch is we were both still doing Mars shit.
So, all right. So I get it now. I get it now. So according to your science, reality is 100% a mirror of the stars. In that, let's when I say mirror, whenever I look at a mirror, nobody's gonna look at a mirror the same way I look at the mirror.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna see something different from anybody else in the world, and it's gonna duplicate. There's no separation. So when I say, well, what if this happened, but that didn't happen in the stars? It's impossible because it's a mirror. It's going to reflect exactly 100% each and every time. So you're saying that this is just a mirror. There's no separation from the outer and the inner. And our thinking, our thought that it's separate is what keeps us enslaved.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying exactly. Because, you know, I fought it with a zillion skeptical investigations, Lord. You see, it isn't that this is my opinion because it makes sense to me. My mind was changed. Evidence changed my mind. And so you understand that. We can both be standing shoulder to shoulder looking at something, and we still are going to see it from our perspective. And the same is for everything else in reality. My thing is, what makes a person think that they are separate? That's the outlandish. I've come to that stage. It is all one. From here to Alpha Centauri and beyond, it is all one. For in order for one raindrop to form and fall, in my perception, here on this earth, every single atom in the entire realm of existence must be in cohesive harmony in order for that to even be enabled. So whatever happens, you know, like the Muslims say, whatever happens is the will of Allah, right? Whatever happens is the nature of reality, and reality isn't at odds with itself. In the slightest. It is in perfect harmony with itself, perfect mathematical harmony from the Fibonacci to the orbit of Pluto, okay? And it is not a separate thing, and that is the real issue. We come here to experience the illusion of separation, okay? So that we can optimize experience. I believe that the Creator just manifests itself as everything in existence to gain the experience of that, to have infinite knowledge. You see, that's a belief. See, I can't prove that. What I can prove is you bring me the history of any individual and have an accurate birth information, and I can demonstrate it. You see, that can be demonstrated.
So since we're talking about the illusion of free will, and this is like, we got about 700 people in the chat. I appreciate so many people being up at about 1:30 in the morning. That shows a tremendous support with what we're doing. Before we continue, my brother, tell them your contact information if they're interested. And let me just make this disclaimer. And I don't even know if that's the right word, but once again, if Brother Rich endorses somebody spiritually, that is different from when I just interview somebody. This brother has said some shit to me personally off the air that I'm like, how the fuck does he know that? And that's something King Simon has done, and just a couple of other people have done. So this brother Akhu, he's in that special category, that elite category of King Simon and other individuals that I have mentioned before. So you're in elite category. So I just leave your contact info, my brother, real quick.
All right, let me let people know. I avail myself to anyone on this planet between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern time, any day of the year, right? If you call me in those hours and I'm able to answer the phone, even if I'm not, if I see the missed call and I'm able to call back, I do that, all right? I will give anybody 5 minutes of my time, maybe more if it's interesting, all right? I have to be interested though, all right? You can call me at 516-881-6992. You can follow me on Instagram at Cosmo361. That's COZMO 361, all one word, all right? I will give you a 5-minute sample. I don't need to know your name. I just need your birth date, your birth time, your birthplace. If you don't know your birth time, I have a method by which to substitute that. So if you get, as long as you give me accurate birth information, I'll give you a demonstration. All right. That's what I do. I charge for 4 readings. This is a mathematical process. I'm not just looking at a chart, giving it some whimsical interpretation. I mathematically calculate your age to date, and we look at the very day, the last 2 weeks, the last 2 years, however far back, whatever incident you want to look at, and then we do it to the future. You see? And I give a person 30 days, right? I stay available to you. You buy a reading from me. It's not like, here, you got the reading, I get the fuck on. You know, I avail myself to a person for 30 days while that schedule is running. So you can call me if you got any discrepancy. And it's not a con.
All right. Definitely, family. Listen to what the brother said. Somebody was texting me real quick, but yeah, listen to what the brother said. It's not a quick fix where he's just gonna look at it. You know, this shit is real. This ain't no, oh, okay, tell me this, and like just like with King Simon, in order to get a full, you know,
Moment, Lord.
yeah, in order to get a full reading from these brothers, you got to give a little bit more information. They have to really look at some stuff, calculate some stuff, make some additions, subtractions, numerical, add some numerical values, whatever it is that they do. So this is something serious that has been, you know, brushed under the rug in our culture and been considered witchcraft or whatever, but it's really not. It's part of our culture before we was indoctrinated, and it's something that I'm a part of the process of resurrecting. I play an important role, important process in humanity, and not only am I resurrecting this information, but I'm resurrecting this information to the group of people who have suffered from one of the highest indoctrinations in the world, and that is the people here in America. The whole world is watching what goes on with us. Why? I have no idea, but the whole world is watching, and we're waking up, and they're taking note. And you know, it's interesting. I'm part of that process, and I'm proud. I've chosen a good incarnation. But my point of doing this, family, on a more serious note, is just to you know, we want to know what the hell is this all about, because we think it's all about the bag, it's all about money, and everybody I interview with money, they say the same thing. They know so many people who have money and millionaires that are miserable. It's not all about money, family. No matter what we think, I cannot stress that enough. And this is not coming from a broke nigga. Sometime when it's coming from a broke nigga, we like, all right, nigga, you saying that because you don't have money. So of course you're gonna say having money ain't that important. I'm not broke. You know what I'm saying? I live pretty comfortably, but I have to stress that point. It's not all about money. There's an internal happiness that we have to pursue that is going to make us feel complete. And I feel as though the brother on the line with me today is a part of that process. And the people I highly recommend are a part of that process as well. Listen, we've been on the line for about an hour, a little longer if you count the other conversations we had that got cut off. But to close out, my brother, I want to ask you, Raku, you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Raku, I want to ask you, so what's your take on, I mean, should I even try? Like, you know how people, I mean, people did meditation is a multi-million-dollar business where, you know, we meditate to clear our minds so we can focus on what we really want. Now, if you know, if free will doesn't exist and everything is predetermined, should I even waste time doing yoga, clearing my mind, practicing this, practicing that, doing all these things to manifest my reality if this shit is going to reality, whether I eat a cheeseburger or a motherfucking piece of kale? Talk to me, my brother.
The purpose of life is to experience this dimension, God. And mental development is a part of this experience. If meditation develops and furthers your soul purpose or gives you initiative, then by all means engage in it. I don't say that any activity or any religious or spiritual activity is a waste of time. I can only speak from a personal perspective. You know, I meditated for years. I use meditation. I still meditate because I fall into deep contemplation and allow myself to enter trance state in order to deal with certain decipherments of my life, God. So I can't say that it's a waste of time. I can't say that anything anybody does is a waste of time. What I will say is no matter what you do, it's going to be manifest as above, so below. You know, it's not a waste of time.
Indeed.
You know, I'm going to add this too, if I'm not holding you, right? Each one of the religions and spiritual disciplines that manifested on this plane of events that has survived to this day, we could trace back to the astrological age that dictates it. In other words, yoga. I can definitely say it originated in the age of Gemini.
Why is that?
Because the age of Gemini occurred about 7,000 years ago, all right? And the sign of Gemini is breathing. It is the lungs, it is breathing, and it is the mind, all right? And the mind and breathing are connected. That's astrological law that illustrates that reality. And the polarity of that sign is Sagittarius, which rules the sinews as well as stretching. So they combined those two disciplines when the heliacal point was passing through those signs. So I can't say that, that shit don't mean nothing. And the fact that it has survived to this day shows its relevance and that it has purpose. So yes, by all means, if that's what you need to do, this is an illusion, right? To get your illusion, do what you must do to get it, because that's what we took this form for.
Right.
We took this form to experience this realm and everything in it.
Do you engage in any of these practices, meditation, yoga? What's your personal take on these things?
Well, because I did it for like 10 years religiously, Lord, I was into it, right? And I realized I did it with a goal in mind. I wanted to be able to induce trance state, mind, all right? And it's just like you lift weights so that you're able to lift more. So you start off at 250 pounds bench pressing, and your goal is to be able to bench press 600 pounds. Well, when you get to the point that you can bench press 600 pounds easily, you don't necessarily have to go back to pumping 250 pounds, 10 sets, 250 pound, 10 sets, 250 pound, 10 sets. That you can naturally jerk 250 pounds now without much effort at all, right? So I don't spend as much time meditating because I can enter trance state whenever I want to, all right? That's also in my birth chart, by the way, right? I got Neptune and which is the planet of trance, and Mercury, which is mine, in the same sign, right? But it still benefits me to engage in those activities. To say that it's a waste of time is to say that it produces no fruit, all right? After a while, realizing I don't have to sit here every day for 2.5 hours to enter trance. I got the trick to that.
Right.
So now I don't need to meditate as much anymore. If I did, it would be a waste of time because I can do it without all of the meditation now.
Whew.
So all things, nothing lasts forever. You know, all things change, and you either improve or you die. You devolve. And if I sat here and no longer practice going into trance state, which is what I do whenever I'm doing something creative. You know, I'm not just an astrologer. I'm an artist, man. You know, and I have to enter my imagination and I have to be there or I ain't doing it, you know. And it's the same thing when I'm doing my poetry. Actually, it's the poetry that I use now as a vehicle to get into trance, to remove myself from this, from my cognizant mind.
Indeed. You know, I seen to close it out. Last question. I seen somebody in the chat room. What's his name? Chaos Old Boy said the universe is a song. Is it safe to say? Is this the best analogy to use that each individual life is a different song of the universe, and regardless of what we think, say, or do, the universe is going to play that song? You ever played a song and you can't change the lyrics because it's already recorded. You can't change the mix, you can't change the engineering, you can't change the production. Everything's already done. Once you play that song, it's going to play. So is that a great analogy to use with what you're talking about, my brother?
Yeah, I would say so because I use that exact terminology, man. I can sing your song, and your record is your birth chart.
Your record. Okay, yes, okay. Okay. Your birth chart. All right. Deep. Man, okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on, my brother. Any
I
last comment?
appreciate being here, Lord.
Indeed, indeed. Like I said, I don't, I interview people and then I recommend certain people. There's a difference. I'm a journalist, so I interview a lot of people. I don't really go out the limb and recommend certain people like that because my spirit doesn't move me to, and I have what we call in this reality integrity. You're one of the people I recommend, my brother. So it's always a pleasure talking to you. Um, and what do you want to leave the people with before? Because we're getting out of here. I didn't ask the last question. It's about 800 people in here. It's 1:30 in the morning. What do you want to leave the people with, my brother?
Don't believe a word I said, man. Nothing I said matters, man, until you know it for yourself, man. Don't take my word for it. Do the math, do the knowledge. That's it.
All right, my brother. I appreciate it. And I'm going to talk to you soon, my brother.
Oh, one more thing. I want y'all to go check this interview I did on the egoist.me. Go check that interview. It's the same topic as this. All right. I did it with a young lady named Marie Rousseau. So y'all go to
the egoist.
Yeah, the egoist.me.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, family. You heard it from the brother. Go check out that interview. This brother Rich, Akhu. We are signing out. I'm gonna see you next time, family. Peace.
All right, Lord. Peace.